Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Africa 360. This week we bring to you our special Zimbabwean general elections coverage. These elections have been marred by controversy and indeed serious allegations have emerged. The movement for democratic change has gone as far as declaring these elections as null and void. Well, earlier on I caught up with the president of the MDC, Morgan Tsvangirai, and this is how our conversation went. And joining us now on Africa 360 is the president of the Movement for Democratic Change, and that's Morgan Tsvangirai. Sir, earlier on you described this election as null and void. Why?
Because this is an election that reflects that this is a coup by ballot. It's not the reflection of the will of the people. It becomes null and void because it has no legitimacy. It's brazen. I don't think that even those that in Africa have committed acts of ballot rigging have done in such a brazen manner. I've highlighted the areas where we as MDC have been highlighting even before the elections. The issue of printing of ballots, the issue of the voters' roll, the issue of the traditional leaders in frog marching people to elections, the issue of people pretending that they are illiterate when they are not illiterate, the issue of a bus which came with young recruits at Mount Pleasant. All that is an accumulation. The role of the military in this operation is very, very clear. And I cannot, in the wildest of dreams, think that this can pass the test. In fact, it is a travesty of justice for the people of Zimbabwe. People have been shortchanged one again in their pursuit for genuine desire for democratic change. Now, what are they being told? Over our dead bodies. We will not allow Zimbabweans to exercise their democratic right. In fact, what we will tell you is that as long as the military is saying this shall happen, nothing will happen. So where to now for
It's
a very sad, it sets a very negative trajectory for the country. You know, when this election was still arguing about shall we do it or not, I said, you know, I'm very positive that the people of Zimbabwe have been very resilient. But this time around, they even demonstrated that they are not only resilient, but that they are ready for change. Across the class divide, across peasants, workers, business people, all realize that this is the only opportunity for us to set the country on a positive trajectory. But their hopes, dreams, aspirations have been dashed overnight by the act of a small clique which is enjoying the benefits of this country at the expense of everyone.
And have you spoken to President Robert Mugabe or any members of ZANU-PF? What I'm asking is, have you conceded defeat now?
No, I'm not going to concede defeat over this. I can only honestly concede defeat in an honest contest. I am not objecting to this because I insist that if MDC does not win, therefore it is null and void. I'm saying that we could have conceded defeat if it was a genuine contest with acceptable, credible conditions that everyone sees as free and fair. Of course, there will be people who would like to endorse that because there was peaceful campaigning, there was peaceful voting, therefore everything is rosy. It is not. An election must pass the test of all stages. The campaigning, access to media, contestation, no military involvement, the voters' roll which is clean, ballots, just about ballots, they printed, and I kept on saying this, they printed 8.7 million ballots for a 6.4 registered voters. Now, are they able to account that if 5 million really voted, are they able to account for 3.7 million ballots? So for us, SADC, AU must insist on an audit of this exercise in order that our voters' roll is checked, our ballots are checked and accounted for.
Do you feel let down by the African Union, the Southern African Development Community? And I'm asking you, Mr. Prime Minister, because you were in a government of national unity that was facilitated and guaranteed by SADC. Are you disappointed?
I'm not disappointed at all. I know there are men and women of credibility in this institution. I know the curatorship that this government has gone through, but failed at the last moment when Mugabe turned against the resolutions of SADC to implement the necessary reforms, completely defiant to SADC. In fact, threatening to leave SADC because of that. So, I'm very hopeful that SADC will once again be called upon to resolve this issue. But for me, the people of Zimbabwe must have a genuine election where they will express and their will is respected. This is not an election they expected.
If an opportunity is presented by ZANU-PF for you to yet again go into a government of national unity, would you do this?
No, I'll not. Let me tell you why I'll not. We went into the government of national unity as a result of the mediation of SADC in order to rescue the people, which we have done. And Zimbabweans will confirm to the fact that MDC made a positive contribution to their lives as a result of them coming. In other words, we're not selfish to say power for power's sake. We went in to save Mugabe and ZANU-PF. We had no clue how to take this country forward. And once the people have been rescued from their poverty, from their despair, we think that this election would have set them on a positive growth. Now, this stolen election, what does it mean? It means that that cooperation is gone. The people are all right. They may not be sufficiently been rescued in their despair, but I am very confident that they are in a much better position than they were in 2008. So, if another government of national unity is called for, we will not be part of that. Now, this time around, they will go it alone. We wish them good luck. If, in their own determination to subvert the will of the people, they think that they privatize this country.
There are people out there who are very, very angry about this.
Yes.
What is the strategy for your supporters right now? What should they be doing at this stage?
Chris, revolutions are not called by leaders. Revolutions are something that is inside. And if you have got something inside and it drives you to do something, then nothing can stop you. In this case, there is no strategy for the leadership of the MDC. We have told people there's been a subversion in 2002, there's been a subversion in 2000. If there is a subversion now, the power is in your hands. It cannot be a revolution by the leadership. And remember that this democratic struggle has been a struggle with so many frustrating episodes. And for me, I think this is the most frustrating event of my life. Because I thought that anything else in the world, President Mugabe, ZANU-PF, will respect Zimbabweans. But I've seen that they have no respect for Zimbabweans. They have respect for themselves and their power.
President of the MDC, Morgan Tsvangirai, thank you so much for joining us on Africa 360. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Africa 360. Certainly, we're left with many lingering questions about Zimbabwe's general elections. However, I'm sure the main question that we are seized with is, what now for Zimbabwe? Well, if you want to know, remember to keep on watching Africa 360, and certainly you can follow the debate on Zimbabwe and Africa by going to our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter, or just drop us an email on africa360@enca.com. And remember, you are the voice of Africa, so we certainly want to hear what you have to say about our continent. So until next time, when we look forward to bringing you Africa like you've never seen it before, do take care.